Taking the newly acquired Nautilus airship to the Dulug continent, the Light Warriors met with Dorga, one of the 3 disciples of the Archmage Noah. From him, they learned of Xanda's selfish motives and wicked plot, then followed Dorga through the Magic Circle Cave, where he was able to enchant the Nautilus with the capability of submerging underwater. With that new form of traversal at their disposal, the Light Warriors were tasked with heading to the Temple of Time to acquire Noah's loot, which they were to use to awaken Un in order to seek her assistance in acquiring the great ship as the adventure continues.
Okay, so here we are at the 2 Horns south of Salonia, where we will find the Temple of Time underwater, and that is where Noah's loot is, which we, according to Dorga, have to take to Un to wake her from the dream world, so then she can retrieve the great ship for us. Along the way, like I said, I took care of some things. I got bard equipment, so now... Whoops, wrong menu. So now, I've actually got a weapon and armor. I also got an extra feather hat, so everybody who needs those has them. I also stocked up on arrows, magic keys, because I know I'm going to be needing those here, and also potions and high potions. I just bought 30 keys. I'm pretty sure that's excessive. I don't remember how many locked doors there are in this place. But worst case scenario, I'll just sell the extras, because this is the last place where you need keys. And they're not very expensive anyway, so whatever. I also, while I was there, I also got a shuriken that I'd completely forgotten to grab, which is in the treasure chest in the magic key shop. I just deposited that in the fat chocobo for the time being. We don't need shurikens yet. And while I was at the chocobo, I also retrieved my Medusa arrows, just so I have them in case of an emergency. And, while I was doing this stuff, basically while I was getting out of Dorga's place, Daryl, Azure, and Gatai all leveled up. So they're all 24. Gadia is almost 24, like just a battle or 2 away. And so he's a Viking for the time being, just to get a little bit more hit points. But as soon as he levels up, he's going back to being a Geomancer, which is why I still have all the Geomancer stuff in my inventory and why he currently has nothing. So hopefully he won't get completely destroyed before he gets that level. Alright, we have the upgraded Nautilus enchanted in the Magic Circle Cave by Dorga, so now it can go underground. So let us enter the Temple of Time, so that we may find Noah's loot somewhere in this place. Also a D-Rye. Whatever that's supposed to be. You actually have arrows equipped, right? Yes, and a good amount. Fire! And then what do you have currently? You've got your King Sword? Yeah, that's right. Attack! And you can just attack, sure, whatever. I was a little confused by Gatai's King Sword for a second, because originally I was going to do a different dungeon before this, but I was getting so many experience points there that I was gaining a bunch of levels, and I didn't have much capacity to be switching jobs before gaining levels to get more hit points. So then it occurred to me, with how many experience points I'm gaining in this dungeon, I want to do that after this. Because this dungeon, I'm pretty sure, generally gives less experience points. And the other place I was doing is just a completely optional area anyway. I just wanted to do that first to get some extra gear for in here. But I decided, you know what? The monsters there were kind of tough, and with how quickly I was leveling up, without the capacity to be changing jobs, I wanted to do this first, because I'll be gaining less experience, so I'll be leveling up more slowly, and that will give me more time for my capacity to build up. This thing is taking forever to defeat. I don't have a super strong team, apparently, at least offensively. Gatai, skill up. Okay, good. Gadia got that level up. So now, straight back to Black Wizard first. As a Viking, Geomancer costs 20 capacity to become. But thanks to Gadia's previous life as a Black Wizard, he can become a Black Wizard first for free. And then from a Black Wizard become a Geomancer for only 12 capacity. Thus saving stuff. And then he equips his weapons and everything. His Guillemon, not the Bloodsword, Earth Bell, Feather Hat, 5 more agility, Gaia armor, and the Rune Bracelet. Onward! The door is locked, but we have keys! Hello, Treji, with pillars that we can't walk behind for some reason. Diamond Helmet. I assume Katai's the only one who can equip that. 39, 28, 9. Defense goes from 41 to 45. And all our other stuff becomes 45, 31, 9. And we're also getting lightning resist from that, I believe, because I'm pretty sure diamond equipment gives lightning resistance, and I don't think anybody else can use that ice helmet. No, they're not going to be able to do that. Azure can equip it, but I'd rather him stick with the feather helmet. See, already the keys are paying. Hello! Ah! Haha! I got a helmet! Katai got a helmet, so now he is protected. But everybody else is kind of in a screwed situation. Scare? Back up. Go forward. And you back up. Ha! You cannot defeat me while I'm in the back. And then scare them, see if that helps at all. Scare the monsters. Cheer. Fight. Fight. Terrain. Arrow. Cheer us on, make us stronger. Goody. And then use terrain to hit them with a water spout. That got one of them. It's nice to have a group terrain attack. Not super strong, but I'm sure it'll help. You back up. Fight. Where is my blood sword? Katai, attack! No, not defend! Well, at least now if that weird double click happens, and it's always on the 4th character too, but at least now if that double click happens, it doesn't result in my party being made defenseless because of attempting to run away. So that's an improvement at least. Ugh. Hang in there, Azure! This fight's almost over, and then we can heal you up. But first, whack whack! And then, I never really understood the bard damaging things by playing a harp. You'd think even just running up and whacking the enemy with the harp would make more sense for dealing damage than playing the harp. But I guess it's probably supposed to be a magical weapon, or the bard has some sort of innate magic himself that conveys damaging energy through the harp. Diamond Bracelet. Can anybody else use that? Ideally you? Nope. You? Nope. You? You can. Let's see, 38. And then we've got 39, 22, 24. It's better for that. 41, 22, 24. Okay, so it's a slight upgrade for Gadia and should also give him some lightning resistance as well. You can use a few of these potions I bought. And then let us advance. 2 steps. Oh no, one of these guys again. At least this thing's not dangerous. Especially when we strike first. This thing didn't seem too dangerous, at least. It just takes a while. Slash. Get some hit points back. A minuscule amount of hit points, but still it's healing. Fire! Clip her wings with an arrow, and as she misses, she tried to retaliate, but Azure swooped to the side And then Gadia's miss is just him sitting there playing with his bells. He got distracted and just started messing with his bells instead and forgot to actually attack. Darrow skill up, Azure skill up. So I looked it up and I'm pretty sure that the Geomancer's bells are not ranged weapons. Ooh. Cheer. And then switch to lightning arrows. I would assume these guys are weak to lightning. And terrain and hope water doesn't heal them. Ka-cha! Solid damage. Ugh. You can take it, Gatai. As everybody else can just dodge because they're in the back. Oh, you can't take hits like that though. Cheer! Rouse up the party. Get us a little bit more strength because this might be a bit of a longer fight. Okay, good. It doesn't heal them. That was my main concern. Alright, now let's go on the offensive. Second lightning arrow. Did in the Sea King. That's more of a sea draw than a Sea King. But sure, game. I will let that pass. Even though I'm judging you on comparisons to a franchise that wouldn't exist until for another 10 years. No. Let's have everybody else go for the lizards, because if this fires off, it will probably be able to take care of the Sea King. Or the King Lizards aren't too tough themselves anyway. Terrain! Money, lots of experience. Okay, seems we're getting tons of experience in this dungeon as well, but it's still less than the other one where I was before, so I still think this is the better place to be doing first in that regard. Now, these guys use lightning, so I'm going to assume bolt arrows are not the best choice. Let's switch you to your King Sword for the time being. And then terrain! Harp attack! Ugh. And then he got mad at Azure for some reason. Terrain! Wash them away! Wash none of them away, rather. And then one chop. And now hopefully this round will finish the job. And that also did quite a bit more damage when there was only one target. Skill up. Ooh, Defender Sword. King Sword. Remove that. Attack power from 61. Ooh, Vitality up 5. Up to 106. Okay, so Gatai's strength went up considerably. And he also got more Vitality, which means he'll get more hit points when he levels. So that's just an added bonus. Ah, surprise attack. So much lightning. They just jumped out of the water and sprayed us with electricity. But then we regained our bearings and retaliated. And now that we've realized what's going on, our defenses are superior. We're able to dodge and deflect their blows, having our guards raised from being surprised before, or something. Ugh, more thunder! Gatai and Gadia are fine with that, but our other two party members take a lot of damage from that. Azure in particular being in kill range, should they fire off another lightning attack. Thankfully, Gadia and Gatai were able to join forces to ensure that wouldn't happen. Just chug potions to keep us going. Hello, other locked door. Key. More treasures. Diamond armor. There's no way anybody other than Gatai can use that. 45, 31, 9. From 48 up to 54. Improvements. 46, 34, 9. Magic Evade isn't going up at all, but everything else is. And now through the center path as soon as we deal with a behemoth. Let's start by getting everybody in position. You attack for the moment. Da-da-da-da-da. Paralyzed. Mwahahaha. And now beat the shit out of it. Oh no, it recovered from the paralysis and Gaudia missed. Arrow. Chop. One chop. Oh boy. Arrow. Urgh. That wasn't too bad. Paralyzed, but then it's gonna get instantly. Oh no, it didn't recover. Good. That means I've got a free turn. That means this is a free turn to beat the crap out of it more. And if I'm lucky, Gaudia will paralyze it again. Damn it. Alright, we've cheered a couple times, now let's just go for the kill. Ugh. Gatai taking that claw to the shield, but the behemoth's might weighing against it sprained his arm, causing some but minimal damage. Daryl skill up, Azure skill up, Gatai skill up. Fix formation. And then move on. Through the water. And one of these doors. Hello? Urgh. Only one hit? Mwahaha! You'll have to do better than that to defeat us, ow. You'll also have to do better than that, and that, although that was a little better. But that's more the Rose fault than the fault of your own might. Daryl level up, Azure level up, Gatai level up, Gaudia level up, everybody leveled! Yay, and we're all over 1,000 hit points now. We're making progress with that, and all of our hit points are mostly even. Azure's lagging a little bit, but that's just because I feel like he's consistently had not the best vitality. Also because of dungeons and not wanting to lose my white magic points in the middle of dungeons. Hello, Tregies. Orialcon, don't need that diamond gauntlet. I can use that. Gatai! 47, 34, 10. Oh, he got more magic evade from that level up. Gauntlet, remove that. 54 to 58. 49, 36, 10. Hello, good sirs. Would you care to be defeated by us? Wait, no, I don't want lightning arrows on these guys. Again, I don't know if they actually resist it, but just the fact that they specifically shoot lightning at us kind of implies to me that they may resist lightning. Ah! Your thunder has no effect on me, Gatai says, standing stalwart at the front. Being so bold as to not even realize Azure and Daryl crippled by the electrical current coursing through their bodies. Just down on their knees in the water. But Gatai is just so arrogant with his resistance to the lightning that he doesn't even realize it. He's just like, ha 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 ha, your powers are nothing to me. And then the rest of us are just like, ah, shut the fuck up. We're dying over here. Gaudia skill up. But that's okay, we can chug potions. Which Gatai also doesn't notice, because he is just like, onward friends, we march to victory! And then as he continues onward, leading the charge, the rest of us are just chugging potions. Oh, second floor, let us go down. Ah, Tarragons! You look completely out of place here. Kill them! I feel like as we get further, there's definitely going to be more moments of just skipping ahead or silence, because this is a long game, not super duper long, but it's an RPG, so it certainly has some length to it. And unlike a lot of other games that I've played, I don't really have stories with this. I have a history with this game. I played it a shit ton back during the early emulation days. But Daryl skill up, Azure skill up, Katai skill up. But I just don't have any specific stories with it as I did something like Shining Force. It's just a game that I played a lot on the old computer, and that's it. I didn't know anything about the story at the time, because there wasn't yet a complete translation for the game. The translation I used only went up through the first town, and that was it. That's all there was. All the menus and spells and items were translated, so the game was fully playable, but the actual story was not translated at all, save for like the first 30 minutes. So I had to play through the game with a walkthrough, which was fine at the time. I didn't care about what the story was anyway. But it wasn't until so many years later that I finally saw this game again with actual context and the story to go with it. Which was weird, because I was so familiar with the game from when I played it all those years ago. So to finally see that same game, but with context, was kind of strange. I had played the DS remake, though, but I didn't really remember much of the story from that, especially because I was too busy complaining about the changes they made. Wow, I think those guys are weak to water. There were just certain things about the DS version I didn't like, so I was too busy complaining about that than really paying attention to what was happening in the game. I still enjoyed it enough to beat it, but I had more complaints than I had praises for it, at least at the time, which is why I have always revisited this, but I've never revisited the 3D remake. Anyway, we just got some stuff. Protect rings. Vitality up, and way more defense. And you know what? I want to give you one of those. You'll lose some strength, but you'll get vitality. I also got the new weapon for him. Attack 43. Attack 3. Perfect. Back up the waterfall. Somehow we're able to climb up this thing. I'm not gonna question it. Gatai, take hits. That's what you do. It's why you're here. Sort of. Whack, whack. Oh, that was completely useless. Blue, 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 blue. 3 hits. It didn't work. So the Lamia harp, the reason it has no attack power is because it can confuse enemies. And I would rather have that than dealing damage, at least in some situations. Cheer! Fight! Fight! Terrain! Now that's one of the things, though, that's glitched in the actual game, but it's another one of the things that's fixed in this patch I'm using. Because normally what happens is the Lamia harp doesn't work because it will confuse the enemy, yes. That part of it will work, but what ends up happening is the what am I trying to say? Blah, 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 blah. What ends up happening if you use the Lamia harp normally is the enemy gets confused by it, but then they're instantly cured of the confusion because you dealt damage to them. So, like, something about the original coding had the sequence of events backwards, so the enemy would get confused, then take the damage. Rather than take the damage, then get confused. Or at least I assume that was the source of it being weird. And so because of that, the thing didn't work. But the patch I'm using fixed that, so now the Lamia Harp is actually functional. It doesn't do crap for damage, but it can confuse enemies. Assuming the enemy can actually be confused. Terrain! Wash over them with a massive flood! Conjure up the water through which we walk and send them to their demise. Arrow! Shoot the Terragon out of the sky, and then slash that one. Cheer! Urgh. Paralyze, let's finish the job. Skill up, skill up. We are becoming more proficient with our jobs. Now you, throw out a couple cures. I'm about to level up again. You have pretty solid vitality already though. More than Gatai. I don't have inventory space. There we go. But yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm pretty sure I'm almost done with this place, so I don't feel like I need to worry about spending my magic on that. Let's equip the Protect Ring to get a bit more vitality. And then press onward out of the magic key. Ah, Treasure. Hello. You are of no concern to us, foolish thingy. Urgh. Oh, so much damage, because I don't have any armor for the Karateka. Victory! I didn't level up. High potion. Diamond shield. Of course, we only have one person who can use that. Defense. 40, well, I have 3 blocks. That might go up. I don't know if any shields approve that or not. I think that might just be based on agility. But 49, 36, 10. 50. Oh no, I have no inventory space. Oh no, that means I won't have any inventory space to remove Azure's Protect Ring to switch him back to his other job either. Ah, everything is falling apart. Drop the no. Drop the frickin' North Wind. I'm never gonna use that. 58. Finally replacing the Hero Shield. Probably 61. 53, 39, 10. And now he's just decked out in a bunch of diamonds. I'm okay with that, I guess. Would that make reliable armor just being decked out in diamonds? Why is this place called the Temple of Time, by the way? It's just an underwater temple that happens to have a lute in it that I feel like has nothing to do with time. It's a lute that can wake people up and bring them back from other realms or dimensions or whatever, like if they're in some sort of spellbound slumber. But what does that have to do with this place being a temple of time? Dare level, Azure skill up, Azure level, Gatai level. Good, Gadia didn't level up. That's exactly what I wanted. Remove that. Now go back to being Hunter, which still costs so much. And now restore some of our inventory space by equipping things. I don't have enough to really become anything worthwhile. But we are going to give Gadia the Protect Ring. Increases vitality for just a moment to get him just that little bit more hit points with his own upcoming level. Magic key unlocked. Oh, there it is. The Phantom Lute sealed in time. Noah's lute began playing a song. Because for some reason it's sealed in time, it's almost like the writers realized at the last second, wait, wasn't this place called the Temple of Time? So they had to come up with some sort of weird bullshit at the last second to explain why it's called the Temple of Time. So like, oh, we'll say that the lute is sealed in time instead of just sitting here. And then someone was like, that's brilliant! And then some other guy was like, is that really brilliant? That actually sounds kind of dumb. And then they're like, shut up, Jimmy. Not Jimmy. There wouldn't be a Japanese developer or a writer or whatever named Jimmy. Shut up, Kakashi. This is a freaking NES game. Nobody's gonna look that deep into it. Hello, Behemoth. Let's cheer. Cheer because there's a Behemoth. Yay! We're gonna die. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Whoosh! Drown him. That was solid damage. More damage than anybody else dealt. Now, can I switch weapons? Where's my Medora? Because it's stronger. And confusing just one enemy isn't particularly helpful. Chop, chop. I mean, it could stop him from being able to attack for a turn, but ow. But oh well. I'd rather just get rid of it. Especially since stuff like that can happen where it can attack first, or I could end up confusing it and then somebody else just immediately knocks it out of the confusion, so what was the point? Gadia level up, yes! And now, you can put your diamond ring back on, and I'll move the protect ring back to Azure. That way if a level up sneaks up on me, he will have boosted vitality, whereas Gadia levels up after him. So there's a good chance that a surprise level up might not include Gadia, whereas it would definitely include everybody else. Unless the level up is so precise that Gatai also doesn't get it. That thing's kind of wimpy for this massive, badass dragon. They put a lot of effort into that sprite for it being completely weak and worthless. Unless it just hits really hard. Who knows? So let's get out of this place. I have my bolt arrows, right? Yes. So let us vacate this underwater temple and proceed to use the loot to supposedly awake Un from the dream world. We just gotta get out of here real quick. Let's go ahead and do that. Fortunately, the doors that lead out of this place aren't locked. So the developers thought enough about that to be like, let's make it so people can leave. That way, if they run out of keys and don't have the exit spell, they're not literally just trapped inside of this place, unable to get out, because we locked them inside. Azure skill up. Gadia skill up. Skill up, skill up. Alright, we are done in the Temple of Time. Let us leave. And go this way. To this place.